Greetings, fellow Lovanions, and welcome to the finale of Sonic Mania, the Sonic and Tails playthrough anyway. If you're asking when the Knuckles playthrough will be, then you're gonna have to wait. That won't be for a while. But anyways, we're back and we're playing through Metallic Madness Zone, which is the penultimate final level. And if, for those who played Sonic CD, this zone will be obviously recognizable. And, I don't know, strangely enough, I don't know if it's just me who thinks about this, but they somehow made it a little more tolerable here. Like, to play through this level, because I think I mentioned this before in a previous part, anyway, but Sonic CD level design, I felt like most of it was pretty clunky design. Because most of the time you weren't really, say, going fast. Rather, you were traversing through, like, really big levels that were more so vertical than horizontal. And there was, like, some awkward enemy placement here and there. So I don't know. If Sonic CD is your favorite 2D classic Sonic game, then, you know, feel free to explain it to me, but it's not really going to change my opinion about that game. I'm not really calling it bad, but, you know, it's not my all-time favorite. It wouldn't be in my top 3. But, you know, it's alright. I did like the music in that game. How it was different between the US and the Japanese soundtracks, which, you know, let me know in the comments below what your favorite version of the Sonic CD soundtrack was. Me personally, I think I go with, I think I listen to the Japanese one more. I think it really fits the theme of the game better, how it's all funky. Well, I guess if you're wondering why I was bouncing on that one bumper momentarily, it's kind of weird to explain, but I had played this stage in particular multiple times, and by that I mean I failed at it multiple times to figure out a proper strategy. But basically, if you don't gather up enough speed at that point, then what will happen is that if you... Because at some point you are going to speed up, and at that moment in particular, when you bounce off one of these yellow balls right here that springs you far, you will speed up in the air, and that sometimes will cause you to hit a red sphere. I didn't show it off there because I knew what I was doing, but still. Just wanted to point that out. And apparently I missed 4 rings somewhere. Didn't really know where they were. And I'm willing to bet some of you in the comments are going to yell at me where I missed them, but... you know, it was too late for me. I was already done with it. I just went ahead with it. Because this footage was recorded after I completed the game a total of once. And that was on the PS4 version. This is on the PC port. Where you can play all the fancy schmancy mods. Which, you know, I think at this point in time... more consist of, like, character mods, and maybe some level aesthetic mods, which is pretty neat. Personally, I haven't messed around with that yet. Oh yeah, and this gimmick right here is new for this game. For this level in particular, you go into the background. It kind of reminds me of what was it? One of the Donkey Kong Country games had that type of design. And if you're a fan of the first Sonic the Hedgehog, this this boss design may be familiar to you. This is the final boss of Sonic 1. Basically, Eggman is in one of these crusher things. You gotta avoid being crushed, but you also gotta pay attention to where he is on the screen, and that way you can hit him like that. However, unlike the original Sonic 1, he has a second phase where he goes crazy. And all these platforms will come down randomly. So, even though I have Super Sonic on, I try to be careful not to go too fast. Because yeah, if you're not careful, then yeah, the knockback can be really devastating. Like, once you bounce off of Eggman, then you'll get knocked back, and sometimes you'll get crushed by, like, the platform next to you. So that's always sad when that happens. Alright, and Act 2 begins, and I fumble right there because I wanted to go on the top route, but then I missed my chance. So it's like, after a while, I just said, screw it, I'll go bottom. Yeah, I do like the remixes of the Metallic Madness music. Again, like I mentioned about Sonic CD's entire soundtrack as a whole. Well, maybe not as a whole. There were some calm pieces of music in that soundtrack, but still, the majority sounded pretty funky to me. Considering it was a game made in the, I think, early 90s for the Sega CD, which all two of you must have had. And if you want, I can't speak again. God damn it, it's a curse for me. And, oh, here's what some people like to call Chibi Sonic. Yeah, and that laser beam, the red laser beam, will turn us tiny, and you'll go through these tiny little sections of the level. I'm really glad that they brought that model back. I also like how Tails gets shrunken too. Well, I hear that saxophone solo in the background. It's always pleasant to the ears. I always get to a certain point up in the level. Because once I collect 50 rings, I don't, like, even though my mind is, well, even though I want to transform immediately, I don't, the smarter decision would be to save up as many rings as you can until, like, you get to an obstacle that you don't want to get hit by. At that point, you know, it's up to you whether you want to transform to Super Sonic or not. But, you know, you may call Super Sonic broken as hell, but just realize that I got Super Sonic by the hand of my own skill at completing the special stages. So, you know, this is fair. That they intended for you to do this. They realized that, you know, this would break some level design, but they didn't care to add this in. They just went for it anyway. because it would just make... It wouldn't be logical otherwise to add Supersonic in. And here we go with the the final boss of Metallic Madness, which is entirely new and overall strange in its design. So basically, Eggman has like this. It's already done, but basically, Eggman had this like, I don't know what you would call it. It's like those machines, like gumball machines, that you would put like a quarter in, and you would get like a gumball, or like one of those toy machines. And basically, you have to turn the slot, and you have to empty out as many little whatchamacallem, like little toys that can get you hit. You have to destroy those as much as possible, or as many as possible rather. And then you get him on his last legs, and then that's that. That was a pretty easy boss. I like how you stayed in. You were the chibi Sonic throughout that entire boss. Now, if you thought Metallic Madness, well, I guess I already said this earlier, but if you thought Metallic Madness was the final zone, then think again. Because now, we are at the final zone, which is Titanic Monarch. Water break. Whew. You have no idea how much talking I had to do today. I'm trying to get the rest of the Sonic Mania playthrough over with and commentated over, so that way I can get to bigger and better things. So I can get to the spoopiness, which I'm not going to reveal yet. You'll have to wait and see. But anyways, yeah, we're at Titanic Monarch, which is... We end off on a original and new zone for this game, which I'm very glad that they did that. That they made that design decision. And I'm only gonna show off these special stages only 2 more times. This is the second to last time. I think I succeed here, if I recall correctly. Yeah. I kind of fumbled earlier with the 4 blue spheres in the middle. But I don't care. That worked for me, and that's all that matters. Yeah, so Titanic Monarch. This is a pretty interesting idea for a final zone. The music is, well, first of all, it sounds... I can commend this because the music does sound evil and sinister. Because obviously we're in the final area of the game. So of course it has to sound dark. And I do like the background art as well. How you can see like a futuristic city. That reminds me of another game. Or I guess many other like pixelated games or old school games like Mega Man, maybe. Even though I haven't played any Mega Man games. Don't know if I should bother, though. And now, the Mega Man fans are gonna come after me now, since I said that. But yeah, Titanic Monarch. Or first Supersonic. Since I lost my shield there. Yeah, Titanic Monarch as a whole, it's pretty interesting. I like how we, these things right here, for fans of Sonic and Knuckles, they would know these as, like basically color-swapped versions of the spheres that you would encounter in one of the bonus stages, like checkpoint bonus stages in Sonic and Knuckles. But yeah, this zone I find very interesting. Might not be my favorite zone overall in this game, but it's definitely up there for favorite final zone. Because level design wise, it's intricate and pretty wacky at times. Aesthetically, looks nice, and the music is honestly fitting for this type of zone. But once we get into Act 2, things will start to get a little weird in terms of what we have to do in order to progress through the stage. Because I do like level designs in Sonic games like this, where you're going fast, but you're also platforming. It's like you're not holding right forever. Like there are certain moments where, you know, you can go fast and it's impressive to look at, no doubt. But still, you gotta divert away from the linearity. Linear. Okay. Linear level design, I should say. Proper grammar, please. Anyways, for those who have played Sonic and Knuckles, they would recognize this as the Death Egg boss, or Death Egg Act 1 boss, and it's dead already. Again, I earned Super Sonic by my own skill, so it's totally fair that I do that. But yeah, that boss, well, in terms of its attacks and all, I think they're pretty similar to the original, so what more can you say? I think there were a few different tactics that I used. Alright, here we go with Act 2, which I think between Act 1 and 2, I think this one would be my favorite in terms of the song. I've always liked the theme of in Sonic games where throughout each act the music or the melody would be slightly different. And that all started with Sonic 3. Oh yeah, I'm right there. I remember I kind of had a moment where I facepalmed. Because I think the whole reason for getting up that high is so that you can get a special stage. So I missed out on like a free 50 rings there. Yeah, I don't think I ever gotten hit by that guy where he targets you. But yeah, this final level is pretty bizarre. I forget. There are some other games that have this type of design. Like for this act in particular. Because basically you have to go into 4 different rooms. And we're about to finish the first one now. So as you can see off to the right, you see how that gate is closed. That's a sign that we took care of that. So we had 3 more rooms to traverse through. Yeah, and you got those purple ominous clouds that will teleport you like at the beginning of the room. So like I think right here, if we fall all the way down, then yeah, we'll get teleported back up, which is not what we want. We're trying to get... yeah, and I fall through a few times. We have to try and get to the right. And I get rid of that guy. There you go. You just have to spot the checkpoint and then you're there. And then you're golden. Like Super Sonic. I'm glad that... this might be a weird thing to say, but I'm glad that... I guess this might be another spoiler, but there's no boss rush. Well... okay, maybe I should be... I should maybe make this more clear. But I'm glad that this zone, in particular, like Act 2 of Titanic Monarch, isn't some kind of boss rush. Because I always hate in certain games where some of the developers are just like blatantly lazy to like design a final level, so they'll just say, hey, well, why not just make the player fight all these bosses that they fought before again? Because you know that's somewhat cool. But really, it's not. We're just lazy. I don't know. But I'm really glad that this level stuck to its guns and kept it original. Well, design-wise, mechanically, well, okay, reverse that. Mechanically, it's original, but conceptually, other games have done this. I am aware of that. But still cool for a Sonic game to do this. Oh yeah, and I think right here... yeah, I don't know why. I think it was because, like, I thought that would lead me somewhere else. I didn't think it was gonna restart me like that. But no, we're supposed to go left. Yeah, we got similar badniks. I think the teddy bear ones, I think those were from Scrap Brain. How they always toss out the bombs. Oh yeah, I got the blue ring power up. I lost my shield. I paid the price. Oh yeah, you gotta watch out for the energy beams right there, because they can hurt you if you don't have the... I think if you have the lightning shield, then it won't hurt you. Yeah, getting the speed shoes with Super Sonic is obviously overkill. I don't know, because I think in the older games, if you got speed shoes with Super Sonic, then he would slow down tremendously. I don't know if he does here. Alright, we got one more final room to go. I do like the attention to detail in the background where you got the stained glass, and some of the patterns, like, you can see that there are, you got the green, purple, and orange, or orange or yellow Chaos Emeralds right there. It's like we're almost in a church. Or it's almost as if we're in a church. Of course, if there's stained glass in any level, then I automatically assume it's a church. You can have stained glass anywhere. Yeah, that I think that one's... I took care of that pretty quick. And that took 7.5 minutes, and in case if you're wondering if the... oh, and I should also mention this. You don't want to let the time go on to, like, 10 minutes. Otherwise, you will get a time over. And you'll have to start... I think you start from the last checkpoint. I don't think it applies like a game over does, where you have to start the whole stage over again. That'd honestly be unfair. But luckily, they restart the time for this boss right here. If you haven't collected all the Chaos Emeralds up to this point now, this will be the final boss for you. So you would be set to get the... I guess you would probably call it either the neutral or the bad ending. And actually... Since I do have Supersonic, I actually almost kill him without him doing this one thing. Sadly, I don't show all this off, but basically, you have to do that in order to... Like, he teleports you into these, like, little rooms where the hard-boiled heavies are. I don't even know if they're clones or not. They might be fake, but who knows. But yeah, all I needed was one more hit, and I could have easily defeated him without going into the rooms there. And that's it. And if you didn't get all the Chaos Emeralds there, then that would be the end for you. But since we do have all 7, we get to face off against the true final boss. Face off against the king. Don't know his name exactly. And I never really understood, like, what Eggman and the king were doing there. Were they joining forces right there? I guess so. Maybe. And, just like almost every Sonic game released... Oh yeah, and by the way, I love this music. It's pretty kick-ass, but... Yeah, like almost every Sonic game, you get the Supersonic boss. And after this, we'll be able to see the true ending. So, this boss is interesting. I'll say that much. So, you only have 50 rings. Luckily, they give you rings during the course of this battle, but they're in the air. So there will be times where you have to collect more rings. And basically, the king and the Eggman are tagging off after you hit one of them. The king will be surrounded by these little energy balls, which he will shoot out at you, and it'll cause you to lose rings. And if you run out of rings, then you will die, and we'll have to start all over again. So that's the king, and there's Eggman. He throws punches at you, so you don't want to hit him when he does that. Otherwise, you'll get stun locked like I'm like I'm doing now. The best way I can, or the best advice I can give when it comes to hitting the king is, and that's what I'm gonna nickname him, is that oh yeah. And there we go, we defeated him. But the best advice I can offer is getting rid of as many energy balls as you can. And yeah, somehow finding a way to hit him, and yeah, eventually you'll win. Kind of had a hard time the first time playing through this, but yeah, there we go, we did it. Ending cutscene time. Oh, there's a little planet. A very Sonic CD-esque type of ending. That poses familiar. Well, I guess if you want an explanation for that. Yeah, that pose that he makes right there is similar to the pose that he makes in the initial teaser for Sonic Forces, like one of the first trailers that Sega released. He makes that pose like the first time we see him. So, it's implied that classic Sonic is being teleported into Forces. That's essentially what I could say, since he makes the same pose. So yeah, Mania is basically a prequel to Sonic Forces, which, you know, it makes sense. I do like that attention to the story. To the story detail. Anyways. But yeah, that, fellow Lovanions, is it for Sonic Mania, finally. Finally, it's over. For Sonic and Tails, anyway. Again, I will probably come back for the Knuckles playthrough at some point. Not after this. Because you guys have waited way too long for me to play through this. Well, to play through all the way through this game. And I'm really happy I could share this playthrough with you guys, because overall, I did have a lot of fun with this game. Playing through it and recording it. And my thoughts on Sonic Mania, I think it's a pretty solid Sonic game. You know, considering it's it's a 2D Sonic game. Sonic Forces will have to wait and see. But yeah, Sonic Mania, I really like it a lot. I like most of the stages. Yeah, like I addressed earlier, the only stages that I could care less about are like Oil Ocean and I don't know. It might be just Oil Ocean that bothers me. I don't know. But yeah, overall, I do like what they've like when it comes down to it, all the art, the music, the gameplay, I love it all. Again, I will agree with some people. It would have been nice if there were more original zones for this game. I think overall, let's see, I'm gonna count it out right now. Studiopolis, Press Garden, Mirage Saloon, and Titanic Monarch. So that's only 4 between the 8 classic zones. So I was sincerely hoping they would add a lot more than that in terms of originality. But again, who knows? If they ever make a Sonic Mania sequel, which, you know, if this does sell well, and if it does receive well, which I've heard, it has done all those things, it accomplished all those things, then, you know, would love to see a lot more original zones. But I think mechanically, I think it did a fantastic job at showcasing classic Sonic in his full glory. And I'm hoping, don't get me wrong, I said this in my Sonic 2 HD fan game playthrough, but you know, it would be pretty sweet if they changed up the art style if they ever made a sequel to this game, or if not a sequel, then any other classic Sonic related game after this, you know, maybe they can change up the art style to, you know, maybe benefit for more modern hardware. But, you know, I do like the pixel art that they showed off for this game. Well, yeah, and also another thing, a little minor complaint, but as you can tell by the ending melody for the ending credits, they don't have, because I think at the beginning they do have a unique ending or unique ending credits music, but yeah, see, like right here, now it's just playing the file select music. I think I would have liked to hear more of like a stage medley, like Sonic 1, 2, 3, and 4, and Knuckles. Like they've done all of that, and strangely enough, this game doesn't do that. But that's just a minor nitpick. But yeah, overall, I had a fun time with this game. I think if you're someone who is looking to get into Sonic games, then, you know, by all means, I highly recommend it. I think for a nostalgia trip, I think classic Sonic fans, or Sonic fans in general, would have a I don't know if I'd say more of a fun time. I think I guarantee you'll probably have a fun time regardless, but, you know, I think when it comes to the Sonic fan community, I think they have, like, when they recognize some elements, like the zones and the gimmicks, I think they have a more fun time recognizing those. But, you know, if you're just an average person that wants to get into Sonic games, and maybe possibly a huge fan of platformers, then excuse me, I'm fumbling over the finale, but excuse me. Yeah, overall, if you're a platforming fan and want to get into Sonic games, then by all means, I highly recommend it. You can purchase this on Steam, PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch would probably be a good platformer to purchase on, since you can take it on the go. That'd be a perfect game to take on the go. But yes, anyways, that is about it. Oh yeah, in terms of I guess one final thought on the ending is that I did like again, the animation, like the opening and the ending art style for the animation is pretty cute. And overall, I thought it was a pretty short and sweet send-off to Sonic Mania, the story mode. And yeah, I think that will be it. So, once again, thank you guys. Thank you, wonderful, beautiful, lovely Lovanions, for tuning into my Sonic Mania playthrough. And stay tuned, because it's the month of October, and you know what that means. There's going to be a lot of chilling content for this month. So make sure you stay tuned for more of that good stuff. But until then, I have been Matt Lovania, bringing you the Sonic Mania playthrough. I apologize once again for the really long overdue delay. But that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. But anyway, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next playthrough. Goodbye.